Hello? That was smart. I guess we'll turn it blue. Hi! So, the internet died for just long enough to screw up my stream. I mean, just long enough to stop my stream. Um, so I don't know what we're talking about, but it's very annoying, and I don't know why this is doing this. Maybe it's only happening because we haven't been able to pay the bill, but that wasn't due until later in the month, so that doesn't make any sense. Oh, he said it is later in the month now. But it's not late yet, but yeah. So anyway, um, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow, chat, and subscribe. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Because other people go and um just say subscribe, but they get people and I don't. So I figured I needed to make it even more interesting to say subscribe. Anyway, on YouTube, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. You just press the button and you just press the button. It doesn't cost you anything. Unfortunately, subscribing on, I mean, it's good for me, but, subscribing on Twitch, costs, but, every little bit will help us, and I'll be able to keep making content, and we won't have to live at my mother-in-law's house, and, stuff like that. 'Cause we get along as long as we're not in the same house. Because she starts being queen bee all of a sudden just because we live there, or just because I live there. Does not work. We very much want to keep our house. We want to, we want to pay it off, and then we want to be able to buy another house and rent it out to somebody less fortunate than us for a decent price, not necessarily 1,500 or the place down the way is an Airbnb and he's paying 3,000 for the 1 month that he's going to be there. How does he know that it's only going to be 1 month? Alright. Well, the neighbor thinks he's only going to be there for 1 month, but the housing market here kind of sucks. And all of the people with available places thinks that their stuff is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's all made out of gold. You're gonna pay me 3,000 bucks a month. That's like that's like $1,000 per bedroom. No, I'm pretty sure that's what what other people get for their mortgages nowadays. He's talking like, yeah, he said that the interest rate is double what it was when we bought this place. It kind of sounds like he's saying, when we bought this in the 1950s, that's not what he's saying, but um we didn't buy this in the 1950s. We bought this in 2021. Oh yeah, it's really hard to buy something before it's built. So my husband's got a 1966 Plymouth Belvedere 2. Uh, what is it? Commando, like Commando Turbo or something like that. Oh, Commando V8. Anyway, anyway, our house is 2 years older than that. Older. 64. Yeah. Our house is 2 years older than the car. It's kind of crazy, and like the hot water does not like traveling upstairs, but it's ours, so. I mean, it travels up to the shower pretty good, but then all of a sudden the sink has scalding hot water. It's not okay. We like really need to have somebody look at it. What? Yeah, but how would we do that? Because we'd lose the availability to have the storage under there. True. Because it's like really fun, sarcastically speaking, when you go up in the winter and you're hoping, we only ever turn on the hot water as far as I know. We've never turned on the cold. Although I seem to remember her saying that they were backwards. Like the hot was on one side and the cold was on the other. Something we really should have written down. Anyway. Yeah, which reminded me that, that reminded me of a scene in the movie Cutthroat Island. She's threatening somebody with a knife, and, it's toward his lap. And she goes, "They're backwards." And he goes, "I assure you, they're perfectly normal in every way." Um, if you don't understand, it's okay. If you do understand, you're probably a grown up. um, anyway, but she had the map in her hand too, and it turns out that the letters were backwards, is what she was saying. And I probably shouldn't have mentioned that on this stream because, kids watch Minecraft. But, yeah. I looked at the demographics and it said that, like, a whole bunch of people were of certain ages and none of them were kids. So I've been kind of, like, I've been trying to keep it family friendly the whole time. And I think I've been doing really good on that one, but I think I've been using some bigger words since I saw that. Dang! Hello?
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 Good morning. My name is Melissa. I'm reaching out because Medicare just...
Dang. Unless Medicare switched it to where you can be 45, I do not qualify. Yeah, so that means I don't qualify for another, like, 17 years. No, wait, that would end in a 4. Would not be 14. Wrong. I will be 18 years. I keep looking this up. So, well, it's not my fault. You retire in 22 years. Well, he's a liar. Or at least you cannot go on Medicare until then. You know what? I just realized I put my footrest up. And I still need to put the extra controller on the charger with the battery that died. Wasn't that smart of me? I think that's why I put it down. There There we go. Okay, all good. Yeah. Dude, let's check. Only if you could do them all at once. That would be interesting if you could, like, work for a certain company and be a secret shopper for that company, but, like, be a secret shopper for, like, 4 different companies. So then it looks like, I mean, yeah, so it looks like you're working for that company, but you're really working for the other 4 companies that you do secret shopper for. And then, like, do Uber, not Uber, do like DoorDash at night or pizza delivery or something like that. Pizza delivery in certain areas can be a very, 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 very money making experience. My father in law said that he used to bring home $1,000 a night in tips sometimes. I just realized I never asked my dad where Armadillo Pizza actually was. Well, because it's like nostalgia kind of thing. My dad used to work there. I assume it was in Fairfield, California. Maybe Susoon, California. Not sure which. And my dad used to work there. He had a T-shirt that said Armadillo Pizza, and I don't know if he still has it. He doesn't wear it. He probably got rid of it. But like I remember that. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, I don't remember where Dad was working when I want to say he was working at Sears when we went to Disneyland for the very first time, but maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I just know that we were going to Disneyland and I was so excited. We were going down there on a Sunday and uh yeah, I was gonna say I believe we were leaving on Saturday. Well, I know we left on Saturday. Um so anyway, I was so excited on Sunday that Dad paid for extra tickets for me, my dad, and my mama um, to go to Disneyland that night. And that was the only time we got to ride the Dumbo ride because it was shut down the entire week. And we didn't get to go on the Mark Twain, but we did get to go on the Columbia. I didn't I didn't think the Columbia was like that great, but I was 7, so like I was kind of happy that it was like a pirate ship, but that's all I remember being excited for. Well, I saw it as a pirate ship. And like you got to go downstairs and check out how things looked, and it was just, it was like a museum on the water for me. So, I wasn't that impressed. I think I would be that impressed now though. Okay, so yeah, so I found out that either a lot of people are having trouble with certain parts of the Winnie the Pooh section of Disneyland Adventures, or they just really like the videos. Because the one video, I think it's the balloon one. A lot of people have watched that one, but it like topped out at 56, 57, something like that. Um, but the the second part of Winnie the Pooh on Disneyland Adventures is has already reached like 70 something people. So she taught him plenty. He didn't retain the information. No, he's a lousy student in that respect. You try to teach him new words, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready. What's the new word, mom?" Or, well, yeah, mom or dad. Um, but you try to get him to chase a fly, and he's like, "Psst, whatever." Sorry, him and Sam were having a conversation that Sam was not actually participating in. Sam's happy to be in Daddy's lap, and a fly came over. And I don't know why we suddenly have flies in the house. I mean, one of our one of our doors is like a different pattern than the screen doors, the big metal screen doors. One of them is a different pattern than the other, and it lets the flies in, and I don't know why. But anyway, it's definitely a different fly than the last one I was complaining about. um, kind of good news is that um winter is coming up, and I'm only saying kinda because I'm always afraid I'm gonna go outside, fall on my butt, and break something. Because I dang near broke my knee that one winter, and something like that really sticks with you. That was the same winter I hit my head on a brick planter. Okay, oh boy. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so it's just going through its routine of playing all the videos, but I'm gonna have to back it up and actually listen to them later. This is why it's taking so long to get through my videos is because, I'm like doing this from 8 a.m. to 11 or noon, and then, I can't play the videos. I mean, I could play Sorrow, but I don't necessarily want to because I don't want Twitch and YouTube to get upset at me. Although I don't know I don't know what you can stream and what you can't stream on Twitch. Because I've seen some rather strange things on here. Okay. Mostly video games though. Oh yeah. One of the YouTubers, um, I think she streams with, like she's got one phone for phone calls and then she's got another phone for, streaming. Anyway, she was doing cooking the other day, but I don't think she goes through Twitch. Not entirely sure, but I don't think she does. One of the people I did see was doing that. But it was weird. It was like they set it up on purpose that way because she like had the sexy outfit on and then she's cooking. So like she's doing it just for the views. I guess if that's the way you want to make your, um, if that's the way you want to do things, then it's okay. But what is that? No, what they're about to eat. Okay, so I watched this family with two cats named Chase and Millie, and they used to have Sky, which is the oldest, or yeah, I think she was the oldest, but she was only 7. Anyway, they started making videos of their cats, and that blew up from there. You know, they have a ton of viewers. Well, so I wasn't getting so many of their videos anymore for some reason. They started out on Don't Stop Meowing, and then they've got this other channel that I started watching with, I guess, their last name. I don't know. Um, but I think it's their last name, and I've added some more of their family members in there. I don't like one of them though. She's always very attitude-ish, and I don't like it. Um, but anyway, I've noticed that when they go, when certain family members go out traveling, some of the food looks really, really good. Some of the other food looks like they put grass on a plate. The thing that they were just eating in the video, it looked like grass with dirt underneath. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't think I would eat it. But since I can hear it either, I don't know, is it a pastry? Um is it is it cake? What is it? I don't know. But anyway, some of the food just does not look appetizing, but they're like, "Oh, this is the best whatever it is I've ever had. It's so yummy." It's like, okay. Although there was a time that I didn't like, you know, dare I say it, I didn't like Chinese food because I was afraid it wouldn't taste good. Oh, and speaking of when it tastes good, we had to get some kind of lunch meat for me yesterday, and we were not able to shop at Costco. We don't have the money to be shopping at Costco right now. But as soon as we get a job in the house, and at least one job, I still want to get that job at Dollar Tree. We're supposed to be getting a Dollar Tree across and up the street. Well, actually, it's one street over and then across the street and up the street. But anyway, it's not too far from our house. I could probably walk it if I needed to. Um, not too bad. And they were only looking for part-time help, and that's exactly what I wanted, was a part-time job. So, that money could go into my advertising. It could go into helping pay the bills. Um, Definitely going to Toys for Tots in the at Christmas time, and the angel tree. See, what I want to do. Oh, I was talking Toys for Tots, but I think I meant the angel tree. Well, I'd like to be able to, put toys in the Toys for Tots bucket too. Um, if they put it out, because last year I think they had it at the. Okay, so the A side door is grocery, and the B side door is usually next to the pharmacy. If that helps everybody understand, in Walmart. Um, I think they had the box that they usually put out either at B door or maybe in customer service. It's like nobody was going to figure out where they needed to go for that. So I bet you they got a lot less in presents for the kids that year. Although they were doing the angel tree thing. I love that. Um, it's a it's a Christmas tree with a bunch of what looks like um, giant price tags or sales tags or name tags, like name tags. Um, since we're playing Minecraft, that made me think of name tags. With a bunch of giant name tags, and it says exactly what the kid is looking for Christmas. And the one year I got a little girl, and I think it said she was into Legos and Barbie, but she's 4 years old. So I think we got her like 5 things. I think we got her a new Barbie, and we got her a cheap Lego set and or maybe it was two cheap Lego sets. I don't know. I remember there being like five things in there. And then I threw in a coat because I kept getting the impression that this little girl was cold. Or, it was going to get colder soon, so she needed a coat. So we got her a coat. Well, my husband got a young man, he was like 11 or 12, and he wanted pants and Legos. I Yeah, I want to say and Legos and something that we couldn't afford. I can't remember what it was, but like, a laptop or a new set of headphones or something like that. Well, we couldn't afford that, but we did our best. I think we bought everything on both their lists. Except for the most expensive thing for him. I can't remember. Oh, maybe it was a video game. Although I thought we got everything on their list. Anyway, whatever we got, and we made sure to get him a coat too. So we put those in the bags and we put the tag on there, and they said that they'd make sure that it got to the kid, and I was just hoping that I think we got her a coat that was bigger than what she needed because she was like a size, like say a size 5 or no, maybe it was a 6X. Something like, I don't know. I can't remember. I just remember it was pink. But anyway, we got something that was I want to say that we got something that was a little bit bigger than what she needed, but it was going to be warm. And I would really love to be able to do that again. That makes, that's like one of those things that makes my heart soar and makes me feel really good, is being able to help somebody else out for Christmas. If I started making money with my books and started making money with a job and started making money with Twitch and YouTube, unless I have to choose, um, I would love to be able to one of my dreams is I would love to be able to go in there and every single tag on that tree the day that I go in gets fulfilled. Gets taken care of. I would love to be able to do that. And not because I know that I'm going to get praise or anything, just because I know that it's going to make some kid's day to be able to get that. Although, I've got to say that I will not buy like GTA for an 11-year-old, because you're supposed to be 17. You're supposed to be 17 and up for that. So if you ask the Angel Tree for a game that is not age appropriate, I would not be willing to buy that. Uh huh. Oh, good. So apparently one year they asked my husband what would be age appropriate gifts for each age group for the Angel Tree, and he went and made sure that they were all age appropriate. Oh, he just showed them the ratings on the game systems. If you're lucky, the store that you go into for games will have the what do you call that sign thing? Yeah, but it's called something. I can't think of it. We used to put them up, like when we were putting the green strips behind the price tags. I can't think of it. Anyway, you're not listening. You're focusing on one thing and not listening to the rest of it. Well, I do, but I can't think of its name. Anyway, we haven't been vendors in a really long time. Literally, they sent us into the store one time to put in green strips behind the price tags. And they literally sent us to, I want to say, Target, and the manager was getting pissed because, I mean, getting super angry because we were pulling so much outdated candy and gum off the shelf. The um, you know, we've done some weird jobs. And like language barrier, that was a big problem. Language barrier between us and they usually call them mom and pop stores, but a lot of people call them like quickie marts, convenience stores. You know, like the little ones that are attached to the gas station. We were supposed to go around and try to convince them to pick up the new flavor of Tic Tac and Nutella, and we told them this box is free, doesn't cost anything, and they were still questioning how much does it cost. So big language barrier there. Um, they were not asking about the next box. They were asking about the box in my hand. Anyway, I think it worked pretty good sending me out there. But, like my husband kind of looks intimidating because he's so tall. And it was kind of funny because one of the stores we ended up going to twice. Settle. Settle. Yeah. Yeah, you heard that. He said yeah. And it's really funny because like last night I walked up there and I said hi or hello, one of those two. And said hi or hello back. I can't remember which one right now because that was several hours ago. But anyway, he learned that on his own. So I do have a talking cat. A lot of those videos on YouTube, they're like talking cat that speaks better than human, and then it's meow 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 meow. It's like no. That's not talking. That I mean, that's meowing a lot, but that is not talking. So I think it's kind of funny because a lot of cats and dogs need buttons to talk, and a lot of them seem to actually understand. But I think Sam really does understand. Well, Todd was speaking in pretty much full and complete sentences in the video I was watching yesterday. Yeah, but he was still speaking in full and complete sentences with his buttons. Hey, that's a smart cat. Now, I'd like to get Sam some buttons because then maybe it won't be such a language barrier between uh, English, cattish, and broken English that he has also. It's like he's trying to learn my language. It's not working quite right because, he's still limited by being a cat, but I think he's doing really good. And it's really cool because at the moment, um, since Coral passed in January this year, 2025, on January 23rd, the boys have been very mindful of where their brother is. They've been very mindful of that, and if they can't find them, you know, like Ben will come down the stairs and he'll be going, Sam, 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 and I'll go, he's over here on my lap, baby. And then all of a sudden, Ben's feeling better about life and, goes on about his day. But although sometimes I think he's looking for Sam, but he's really spouting love sonnets or whatever to Bobby, trying to get her to be a cat. She grew up in a house with her doggy sister Lucy, so she may think. I mean, she was there first for the longest time, and then they got Lucy, and so I think over time she developed the idea that maybe she's a dog instead of a cat. We're very confused about this. But Bobby came to us in April. We were not mentally ready for another cat, and my sister, we went to our son's graduation in June, and uh, my sister was like, you could have said no. I got two sisters, so the one that I usually talk about gave me the cat, and then the other one was like, you could have said no, and it's like, well, I didn't want to go into a shelter. I would be a major hypocrite if I let Bobby go to the shelter, because I think they are nice places. It's good that they take care of animals. But when Coral was little, what is going on? You okay? Honey, he was going like this. You okay? You let me know if you're not okay. So, you know how some older ladies have that, the old lady shake sometimes? I mean, some other people have it, but that's usually from brain problems. but like some older uh people have that shake in their hands. Well, he was just having something like that, and I'm like, I cannot handle losing. I definitely could not handle losing the baby of the family. Of the original three, Bobby is actually younger than Sam. Um, I have to get my sister to tell me what year she was born again. Not my sister, but Bobby. I think she said 2018. I'm not sure. And um, we have not been able to go and uh, talk to their kitty doctor and see if we can get the paperwork for her. The how many times she's been to the kitty doctor and what the results were and all that stuff. Because I'd like to get them faxed over to faxed or sent somehow over to email over to our kitty doctor. Just in case. As soon as we get a job in the house, I want to get Bobby all checked out and make sure she's in good health. And if that, okay, so I usually call it an old lady shake, and I was trying to avoid saying it that way, but that's how I usually say it because one of our friends was an older lady, and she had to shake like that. So, but like I'm not being disrespectful when I'm saying it. I'm just, that's what I usually call it because she's the one that had it. I think that was Marilyn. Yeah. Yeah, so our friend Marilyn, I think she was the one that had the yeah, okay, she was the one that had the shake, and she passed away during COVID, but not from COVID. And my mama did too. It was kind of okay, so it was kind of funny. We moved in here September 30th, or yeah, think we started moving in September 30th, and somewhere I lost my digital Bible. I'm very upset about that, but anyway, anyway, and my mama passed away on November 11th. Although I remember it being November 10th. But anyway, in there somewhere. Um of 2021, and they said that she had COVID, but I don't think so because when we had COVID, we just felt super miserable, no energy, everything tasted dead, no cough. Now, I guess if you had that combined together with pneumonia, which they said that she had too, maybe there'd be a cough. But yeah. I don't know, like me and my sister and brother didn't see the signs, I guess, because she'd been coughing for a really long time, and I just thought it was like throat allergies like I have. This is a definitely known factor. I've got okay, so I've got hay fever, and a lot in Nevada is dry grass, even if it is wet. I know it sounds funny, but it's like dry grass even though it's wet. and that's just me. So I didn't think anything of it because of that. And I think my sister and my brother, kind of had some kind of idea like that too. So, whatever their idea was. And so we didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden it was, um, I think it was 2 or 3 days later. So we're like supposed to have a conversation. We're supposed to go on um, the phones and have a video chat. Sam's trying to play video games again. Anyway, we're supposed to video chat, like, say, on the 8th or 9th. I'm not even sure. But anyway, we were supposed to do that, and I had to go to work. Well, me and my husband had to go to work, but, I had to go to work, so I couldn't do it. If I would have known then what I know now, I would have said, screw you, Walmart, and talked to Mama instead. And me and Sissy at the very least would have been going to go see Mama because I know that my allergy pills from I know it sounds weird, but the allergy pills that I got from I mean that I get from Costco, they work wonders. They are awesome for getting rid of, well, pretty much making you feel like you don't have allergies. Making and if you need it for when you're sick, it makes you all better in about 3 days. And I love it. So I would have taken that down to Mama. Mama would have been all better. And yeah, like that and some chicken noodle soup and some Gatorade and but we didn't know how bad off she was. And she didn't, well, I mean, we saw her on video chat. She was coughing a lot, but I literally just thought it was, like allergies. Although allergies come from my dad's side of the family, not my mom's. So, and I didn't always have these allergies. They got turned on when I was pregnant with my daughter. Or maybe after I gave birth, but somewhere in there. Probably when I was pregnant with my daughter. But she doesn't have any allergies at all. Yeah, so she got lucky, but maybe when she has her first child, she'll have the same problem. I can't believe that though. She's working at a casino in the gift shop, in a small gift shop. I think that is pretty dang cool that she has a job and well, I think that's pretty dang cool that she has a job and that she's able to keep it so far. But when she goes to work, the deer have it out for her. They like decide all of a sudden that even though they've been playing in the trees in the forest, there's like no forest over there. What am I talking about? But anyway, um, they've been, hanging out wherever they hang out. And then all of a sudden, just because my daughter's going down the street, it's, I want to play on the road now. She actually hit a deer. She didn't mean to, but she hit a deer with the car. And so she's got a messed up rotator cuff. And yeah, we found out about that in December of 2024. I was like, oh my goodness. And then we got to actually talk to her. Yeah, my husband's always giving bear hugs, and he totally forgot about it, but we're like, our baby, it doesn't matter how old they get, they're gonna be our baby. But I think that's a mental thing with me, is that, they were pretty much, I think she was 8 and he was 1, something like that. Maybe it was, no, it was 7. She had to have been 7. Or maybe, I don't know, something like that. But she had to be 7 because I remember that um, she had to go to the hospital to get her appendix out because, like, her body, like her, some muscle in her body, like, made a pocket around the appendix and that irritated it. And so she needed it removed. And I don't know where she got that because the only person that I know that's gotten their appendix out in our family isn't even blood related to us, but my younger brother. And his was on the wrong side. Normally they're on the left side, and his was on the right. So, so yeah, I didn't actually get to talk to the doctor, and we couldn't even stay that long because, um, oh, we didn't have our own car, and my in-laws had taken us, and my father-in-law needed to, um, go to I needed to go to work that night. I think it was. And so we didn't even get to be there like when she woke up. We got to see her when she was still in pain and complaining that uh um she couldn't go to the bathroom. I'll just say it. She couldn't go to the bathroom because of that. And doctors are always like, you need to go in the cup. And it's like, I can't do that. So we had when I got my surgery, I got to freak out the nurse because she was like thinking I was bleeding internally, but what ended up happening was that it was just I was a girl at the time. Um, yeah. Anyway, I just think it was kind of funny that I freaked her out. I'm not like, one of those people that's like, "Oh yeah, let's do something to freak them out." Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not like that. It's just I think it was kind of funny. Um, yeah, I'm eager to find out what happens in the chapter after after the one that I'm working on cuz I don't remember right now. I just don't remember at all whatsoever, and I'm like I want to know. I want to know. Like on Indiana Jones and thank you and the Crystal Skull. Well, the only thing that I could think of was the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, and that's at Disneyland. So I kind of wished that they would have. I don't think I would have put Shia LaBeouf in the part just because I remember him from Even Stevens way back when he was the bratty little brother. So I'm having a hard time. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't put him in any other role. I'm just saying that I'm having a hard time thinking of him as an action hero. But I would have liked him to be the next generation Indiana Jones. I'm sure that people were watching Harrison Ford and whatever he was doing before Star Wars and going, you know what? I don't think I'd cast him in that part. And then they did, and, nobody can think of Han as anybody but Harrison Ford, you know? It's not called typecasting. Typecasting is you were a Duke boy for 8 seasons, or was it 7? I don't know. I'm going to find out that answer a little bit later. He's saying 8. I'm saying 7. I don't remember though. But anyway, you were a Duke boy for 7. We'll say 7 seasons, and then all they want to put you as is a country boy all the time, and not necessarily the smart country boy like Luke. They want to make you the Bo Duke of it. I'm not saying Bo Duke was not smart. I'm just saying sometimes he wasn't as smart as he didn't appear to be as smart as Luke for some reason. I don't know why they wrote it that way. They could have both worked on it. Like when they did, when they started out with Cooter, he was the kind of guy, and they developed his character to where he was smarter, and it worked a lot better. And in Hazard in Hollywood, or yeah, it was either in Hazard in Hollywood, or what was the other one called? Was it called The Reunion? Anyway, it's the one where they're trying to raise money by having Mickey Gilley, I think it was, do a concert in Hazard, and the people that they had met in Hollywood, but Bo fell in love with this girl in Hollywood, and they just happened to have them show up in Hazard, but they still had the, I think it was a Hispanic family actually, and like the sister is the one that Bo fell in love with, and I want to say 2 brothers. Anyway, and they had like the lowrider car that can get up and down if it wants to, with the hydraulics, and I think I'm mixing up the two movies, but anyway, um no, yeah, I think I'm mixing up 2 movies. Maybe Hazard in Hollywood was the whole thing about Mickey Gilley. Anyway, okay, so the one that I'm talking about is the one that starts out with um Luke is part of the volunteer fire department, and all of a sudden he's kissing on another firefighter, and Uncle Jesse's looking at him like, I didn't raise him that way. Ew. And it turns out that, it's um, I think a blonde haired woman. So, it's perfectly okay. And as soon as Uncle Jesse sees that, it's like, oh, okay, cool. um, but anyway, whatever that one is. Yeah, now that we've established that, I have no idea why we're on that subject. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, so then we got oak, spruce, birch, jungle, two-toned house. Alright, not that. Um, that. Yeah, supposed to be acacia. Okay. I think we were trying to do this on purpose because it looked pretty good. And then I was like, I don't know. I didn't like it as much. And are you gonna settle or are you gonna go somewhere else or what? You gotta pick one, baby. Okay, but you're still hurting my leg. This one. Come on, lay down. Or go running up the stairs and tell brother you want to play with him. Because that sounds like something fun to do. So he settled down in mommy's lap. Silly kitty. Silly kitty. Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. Anyway, that's like, you know, well, we'll go back to that thing. What I was trying to say is that, that's like telling John Snyder that he's played Bo Duke for the last 7 seasons and he's got to be a the stereotypical Southern cowboy in the next thing that he plays. And I hear he was in Smallville as somebody. I don't know because I never watched Smallville, but I hear he was in Smallville, and him and his wife Dee Dee always say that he did really good in the part. Yeah, this just looks like I ran out of time. Like, we need to go shopping or something, and I'll get it later. And then I was like, I already pretty much did this, so I don't know why I would do this. I mean, having the uprights here be a different color, that I understand. But the rest of it, okay. But anyway, the rest of it, and I don't understand at all. But I think they tried to do that to both of them, where they had to be the southern guy, all the time, and couldn't play anything but a cowboy. Well, I know for a fact, and I don't exactly like that episode because of the fact that he's the bad guy, but John Snyder, in an episode of Blue Bloods, is the bad guy. And yeah, and Luke Skywalker. Uh, I mean Mark Hamill. Sorry, Mark. Mark Hamill was Luke Skywalker. Um, yeah, most people know that. I know that, but the thing is that they were trying to tell him that he had to play those kind of parts, and he's played all kinds of parts. He was um he was a teenager in, I think it was Corvette Summer. Um, he was a moody teenager too, if I remember correctly. Kind of like Michael J. Fox on that episode of Night Court. So in the episode Night Court, they were running away because their parents didn't care about them, or at least that's what their perception was. That their interpretation of the facts was that their parents didn't care about them, and you never did find out whether their parents actually cared about them or not, because their parents never showed up. But Santa Claus did. And even if he's, this crazy guy who just thinks he's Santa Claus, he did something good by telling Michael J. Fox's character that he did care about him. And they, whether he thought that nobody, whether he thought that the guy was crazy or not, he did care. And then the guy has what is like a heart attack, and yeah, I've never seen Michael J. Fox be, you know, kind of a big jerk like that. It was weird seeing it. I always see him as the happy-go-lucky guy. He was Alex P. Keaton on Family Ties. Always interested in getting more money. When his little brother Andy came into the family, he tried to instill that same, that same set of ideas in Andy, and uh, I think he mostly managed to do so. Um, anyway, you always see him as the happy-go-lucky guy, the guy that, well, not necessarily happy-go-lucky. He's usually the underdog, but but like he can have other emotions. So like if they tried to typecast him into being the happy-go-lucky underdog guy all the time, he'd probably get pretty upset too. But what I was saying about Tom Wopat, the one that played Luke Duke in The Dukes of Hazzard, he was playing the bad guy on an episode of Dukes of Hazzard. He's the what did I say? Oh, I did not mean that. I meant he played the bad guy on the episode of Blue Bloods. Yeah, I probably did say Dukes of Hazzard. No, he played Luke Duke on Dukes of Hazzard, and he was playing the bad guy in an episode of Blue Bloods. He's the I don't know. I want to say the PR guy. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, there's a newscaster, I think she was, and this is the guy that helps her. So like if it was the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie, he'd probably be the one that was trying to get her to wear the dress. Not the tech guy, the other one. Butler? Yeah, he'd probably be like the butler, but But the butler, but not. Anyway, yeah, but he's not just a butler. He's willing to um oh, what's that thing called? Boast off, fight with her, and look up stuff in the books and all that stuff. Not really a bodyguard. He's just anyway a helper. Anyway, so she got to the point where she's about to get uh no no he was about to get fired. So all of a sudden some things were happening to her because she was the one going to fire him, and including acid. And I want to say that she was a Frank Reagan girlfriend at one point, but not the one that was asking him how's my lighting. I think I was kind of squinting, and he answers you were fine. It's not that girlfriend. It was a different one. She played somebody that I've seen before in a movie or a TV show. I just can't remember who it was. I mean, I can't remember the character. Just in Murder, She Wrote, or in something else? Well, 'cause he was kind of the bad guy in that. So he was just talking about Adam West playing Batman. He's the 1966 Batman, where Batman's wearing blue. He's not wearing black like he does now. Yeah, and he's a duly deputized deputy. What was it? Duly deputized deputy of the law? Duly deputized agent of the law. Agent of the law. Yeah. Okay. I knew deputy didn't sound quite right. Basically he was working with the police to round up these bad guys. And it was usually the Joker's out. Do you think you can handle him? And it was the cops talking amongst themselves. No, I don't think we can. He's kind of a really good bad guy. And then they would talk to Batman about it on the red phone, and he'd go, "Oh yeah, I'll go in there and kick his butt and take names and." What's that one? Oh, okay. I was like looking at this video going, who the heck? And it turns out it's Pop's Disney Adventures. Oh, they're on the tram. I was wondering how he was driving and still recording. Okay. The tram that goes from the parking lot to the front entrance. Well, I assume it goes to the front entrance. We've never gone on it. I really wanted to go on it, but it either cost money or it was more fun to walk, or I don't know. I remember when we went in '89, there was all these like futuristic looking cars. And something about it being like the 50th anniversary of something or another. I don't know. I remember a park that we went to, and I want to say it was Disneyland. And they definitely said it was the 50th anniversary of something. But that doesn't make any sense because, like, the Disney company, I want to say, started in 1922 with Mickey Mouse. Or 1928 or whatever, they come up with. Anyway, with Mickey Mouse. But if Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was the thing before Mickey Mouse, then, like, say he started it in, like, say he started it in 1919 or something like that. It could have been the 50th anniversary from then, but that doesn't make any sense either because that would have been the 70th anniversary. So I don't know what the heck they were celebrating, but they said it was the 50th, whatever it was. So they had everything decked out in 1950s, and there was like a big 1950s kind of stage, and I remember that, but I don't have any pictures of it because we didn't have cell phones back then. We had film cameras, and you only got 27 shots, and you only got 27 pictures of your whole entire vacation. So unless you bought more than one. And actually, I had one of those, I think it was called a 110 camera. Had Mickey Mouse on it, and it was blue, and I loved it. But you had to be very careful getting the film out. You also had to be very careful getting the film out of that 35mm camera I had. I ended up screwing up every single one of my pictures. So I stopped using that thing. I didn't understand it. I was so grateful when they came out with cell phones with cameras on them. And then you could just you could just load it onto your computer and have, like a million pictures. What? Yeah. Yeah, I've had the problem where, load it onto the computer only to have well, usually it's an external drive meltdown. Like it was saying, you've used me too much. I need to go. And then if you let them sit too long without being updated and all that, then they just lose all your data. Or at least that's what happened with my MP3 player. It had over 1,000 songs on there, and it could have had more. But there's nothing on there. Did I? Okay, he says maybe he says that maybe I went and put everything on media. I mean, on the computer itself. But I had over 1,000 songs, and I've only got maybe 50 on there right now. So I think I put them on an external. Anyway, I had a ton of songs on there. I'm sorry, baby. Anyway, I literally had over 1,000 songs on there, and then I'm like, this is not good. I will put them over here on this external. And I think that was one of the ones that messed up. So then now I've got a bunch of songs that I love that I don't have access to. Well, okay, they're on YouTube Music, but I would have to go and find like every single one of them. Oh, hey, so I can have them on YouTube Music and not have them on actual music music video, right? Okay. I think I'll do that because except for a couple of well, maybe more than a couple of them, but okay, so I have some by Puddle's Pity Party on my YouTube right now because I saved it to watch for later. And then I've got I've got an I think her name's Ada or Ida, something like that. I've got her on there. I think it's Ada, except for it's spelled AID, whatever, something like that. Um, she's singing a very pretty song, and I loved it. And I wish I could get a, I wish I could get it on CD or even an MP3 file. Buy and download the MP3 file. I really want, that specific song, and I could not find that specific song. I could find a whole bunch of songs, but I couldn't find that specific one. And I don't know if that's like a popular, like I think it was, I think it's like Ukraine's Got Talent or somewhere around there. Might be Russia's Got Talent for all I know. But something like that. Somewhere in that area, I think. And she's normally a waitress. So waitresses can't sing. They're thinking. I've seen like the longer version. I've got the shorter version where she just goes on the stage and starts singing. But they're thinking waitresses can't sing, and she's singing like she's been doing this all her life. Like she's been on, she's had the big music career before, and that's just not true. So they asked her to sing a cappella, which means without the music, and she was singing just as good. And so the judges actually apologized instead of being like Simon saying, I made that happen. Because Simon will stop somebody and he'll go, that's not your best work, try again. Or or that backing vocal, that backing music, whatever they actually call it. No, ba- backing something. Anyway, isn't doing it for you, try it and, let's try it this way. And then they do that, and they fix it, and he's like, oh, that was awesome, that was great, and I did that, there are um some music tracks are just like, excuse me, I can't hear the person. It's like you wanted to hear the person, and they go and do it that way. So I'm just going to finish this house and then the next one, and then I've got to go upstairs and do that kitty treasure hunt. And that's the thing I don't like about cats, is that you got to do the treasure hunt. And you got to get all the treasures out of there, of course, and then you got to put some new litter in there, and oh my goodness. It's the only thing I don't like. So I keep thinking that I want to get one of those that does that for you, but I don't think it's going to work. Hold on, he's got another phone call. I think that is so funny. Anytime we don't have a job in the house, somebody calls up looking to buy our house, or get us to invest in something, like buying a new one. And when my husband tells them that we can't even afford a loaf of bread right now, they always laugh. Like, yeah, right. Like, that would ever happen. It's like, we are dead serious. We have actually had times when we had to go and save up our pennies, because a loaf of bread was 99 cents, I think, at grocery outlet at the time. Honey, that's what I just said. It was. If you're going to kibitz, listen to the whole thing first. Yeah, I do, actually. Saying I don't listen. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Anyway, whatever. So a loaf of bread was 99 cents, and we had to go and save our whole entire set of pennies so we could buy this loaf of bread. Throughout the whole month, picking pennies up off the ground, getting our change from, whatever. And, because back then, for some reason, we had cash. I don't know why. But anyway, I guess we'd get like $20 cash, and then we'd save up all the pennies. I don't know. Anyway, so we'd go into grocery outlet, and they were so sweet. This is the reason why we're going into grocery outlet. They're so sweet, they'd let us pay with nothing but pennies. Some of the other stores were like, no, we don't need pennies, go away. But grocery outlet, And I want to say that ours was owned by a husband and wife team at the time. Grocery Outlet was very kind to us and let us pay with pennies. And I say that, any way that you can pay is good. So if like we ever actually were able to start up the airsoft field that we were coming up with in Tahoe, we were coming up with this airsoft shop because there's so many trees there. It's perfect place to play airsoft. Airsoft is plastic BBs. For any of you who don't know, you shoot them out of the airsoft gun, and I cannot hit the broadside of a um, milk jug that was on a tree, but I was able to hit our friend in a very sensitive spot. Don't ask me how that happened because, like I said, I couldn't hit the broadside of a tree. On the other hand, if you go and try to come to our house, you finally figure out where it is specifically. I do have a broadsword in the house. um, yeah. And that's probably not the best thing to say, but it will keep the intruders out, I'm sure. I also have 3 cats. One of them is very, very, very sassy. uh, well, yeah. 2 of them are scared. Well, probably all 3 of them are scaredy cats, but we're not sure about Bobby. We just know that you can pet her for a little bit, and then she has to. And then she acts like she's gonna bite you, but she didn't actually do it. She has. Actually, I think she has done it once, but. What the heck? I was doing this just fine, and then. Anyway. So, as soon as I'm done with the next house. Actually, I have to go upstairs now, but as soon as I'm done with the next house, I will end the stream and get me some lunch, and then I'm gonna play some games offline. Off stream. I don't think everybody wants to see me cooking 3,000 meals to get 2 memory orbs. It seems like it. I'm exaggerating, but it's not that bad. But yeah, I don't think anybody wants to see me doing that. And actually doing the fireworks display is getting to be very, very tedious with numbering. That's the same thing that was happening with Dreamlight Valley yesterday, is that I was trying to put things to trying to get the meals done, and it was the fish section. So fish Creole, fish. I'm gonna make up a recipe because I can't remember any of the other ones. Oh, fish risotto. I was gonna say fish biscuits, but that's not on the list. Anyway, all that and and it kept using a different fish every single time. So it was really annoying me. Anyway, I'll be back and tell you more about the stuff in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, see, I was just daydreaming about being able to afford the rights to use any of the songs that I've heard on the internet or on the radio or, ever in my videos. So then you've got this and me talking and music. It would be great. If I forgot, like, okay, if I, like, was the next J.K. Rowling and had, like, say, Vin Diesel's bank account or something like that, or, no, let's say President Trump's bank account, because it's probably more. I mean, I hope that, Vin Diesel's making money, but, I'm just saying, President Trump probably has more. So, anyway, if I ever had that, I probably would buy the right to have any music I want in my video. I'd have she wears short shorts, I wear sneakers. She's in the cheer corner and I'm on the bleacher or something like that. Oh, she's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers. That song. It might be Billy Joel's Piano Man. But I would also like some of the people from America's Got Talent and the other Got Talent shows. I think the one that I'm specifically thinking of is Australia's Got Talent. There was a guy on there, Chuka Parker, and he played the piano, but he'd never been taught to play the piano. He just sat down one day and started playing the piano. And it's not the da 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 kind of piano. It's actually, some nice jazzy stuff. And I loved his first audition. I did not like some of his other stuff, because he plays what he feels. So if he's like slightly nervous but very very excited, he'll play a jazzy little tune. Or if he's nervous and worried that he's not going to make it into the next one, he may have it's good but not as good audition. So you like never know. Anyway, I would like that first audition piano piece. And then I would like still can't remember if her name is Ada or Ida or whatever, because it's like AIDA or whatever. But anyway, she was singing a pretty song, and I'm sure that she got to that she at least got to the next round. They never show you anything more than that, though. Or like this one guy, he was saying is that called Hallelujah? Okay. So so the one guy, he had gone on America or Britain's Got Talent. Anyway, someone with David. Simon was there too, but someone with David. Anyway, and the whole thing was that he'd gone on there before, and basically David called him a talentless hack, and he should never sing again. At least that's what it sounds like. I never got to see the first audition, so I don't know. I just saw the second one where he comes back and he sings very well. And it was either Simon or one of the ladies was, I want to say it was Simon. Anyway, was asking, "You've been on here before? What happened the first time?" And and he somewhere in there he goes, "You three were quite pleasant." And he points out David and says that he was, he says that he wasn't. And so like he got singing lessons. Oh yeah, there was something about he needed singing lessons. Anyway, David goes, "I'm usually the nice one." Well, he wasn't that day apparently, and I would really love to see that, to see if he did sing badly or if it was just what David's perception of badly was that day. Because, like, I think sometimes the judges just get in a mood and, some of the stuff is really bad. Because, like, yesterday I was watching a video, from this current season, so 20th anniversary of America's Got Talent. And I only remember that because, well, I don't know if that video was or not, but I think it was. Anyway, there was a country act on there, and he sounded like he'd been a country singer all his life, and he was just going on America's Got Talent to give a cheap thrill to the audience, And it turns out that he's been a small band for a long time. He wants to be, a well-known band like, say, Garth Brooks or Kenny Chesney comes to mind, Keith Urban, Toby Keith, Alan Jackson. He wants to become one of the famous ones. So he goes on there and he does this excellent performance. I do not believe Howie, because Howie said, basically said, y'all need singing lessons or band lessons, whatever. He was just in a mood, and he decided that they didn't need to go through to the next round, and I loved them. They were awesome. But yeah, just like my husband said, only somebody can go to the next round. Although I was very happy because on a previous year there was that janitor who was singing, I want to say he was singing Billy Joel, but I don't remember. He was singing something really, really famous that I've heard from, other people in AGT. But whatever it was, he sang it really, really well. And it was between him and a lady with a dog, and I don't know what her act was. I've never seen it. Or if I have seen it, it wasn't as memorable as the janitor. Anyway, he's a janitor at a children's school. It's pretty cool. Um, Speaking of that, if you have teaching credentials, our local uh, adult school, I think it is. I don't know, some kind of school. Um, they're looking for substitute teachers. I don't know if you need if you don't, I don't know if you need teaching credentials to be a substitute teacher. My husband keeps saying that you do, but I don't know. What? Oh, well, he says he's talked to substitute teachers and they said you do need credentials. But I'm thinking, like if you know something, you ought to be able to teach it without necessarily credentials. But on the other hand, the credentials help you. Like if you tell somebody's kid that 3 plus 1 equals 6, and then the kid flunks the test because 3 plus 1 equaled 6 because that's what the teacher said, then, yeah, and that you supposedly know how to teach. I say supposedly because there's a whole lot of teachers that seem like they've been teachers forever, and they just seem like that they're lording over you because you don't know whatever it is that they're trying to teach you. I can only think of one at the moment, but she literally told us that if we'd paid attention in high school, and she was like yelling at the whole class, and I thought that was very unprofessional of her. She should have asked the 2 older students to leave the room while she yelled at the rest of the class. But yeah, 2 of us had been at school for like 20 years. Well, I think the other guy was like 10 years. But hold on, phone call. Just hang up. Anyway, we'd been out of, he'd been out of school for about 10 years. I'd been out of school for like 20 years. And what? Had 2. Well, okay, so I graduated in 97. No, wait, yeah. I graduated in 1997, and this was 2009. So maybe it was 10 years for me and 5 years from him. I don't know, something like that. It wasn't as long for him, but we'd both been out of school for a long time. And she was yelling at us with the teenagers that were messing around in the classroom. And I don't mean 18, 19. I mean, kids that were just going to the college so they could, get their points to graduate. Because they'd screwed up they'd either screwed up in high school already, or they were trying to get that out of the way. Either way, it wasn't working because they were still at that mental state of let's mess around and not care about our future and all that stuff. So I'm not saying everybody's like that because um, we had a manager at McDonald's at the Solano Mall, um, that was very responsible, and she was young. I don't know how young, but she was young. Like you think of a manager as maybe late 20s, early 30s, all the way up to 50 something. You think of that kind of age as a manager. Actually, you probably like 30s to 55 or something like that. You think of that as a manager. But this one was um you know either in her late teens, early 20s, or somewhere in her 20s. Anyway, but she was very responsible. Okay, so yeah, I gotta stop and do lunch and do that treasure hunt and all that. I don't want to do the treasure hunt. And it's getting hot in the house. Okay, let's double check. Worst part of that is because I'm wearing a thicker shirt than I usually do. Okay. Look, we found the... Wow. Wait, which way are we going? Oh, we're going that way. Yeah, okay. So this is going that way. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we got oak, spruce, birch, jungle, acacia, dark oak, mangrove, cherry, pale, and then fix me colors. So we'll come back to that later. I'm hoping that um I'm hoping that the chapter isn't going to take that long and I can go and do this, or I might get into the chapter and decide to go to the next chapter and the next chapter and the next chapter. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, so anyway, please go on Amazon and please check out my books. I would love it if everyone would buy my books. Um, they are Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times, Esperanza's Party, The Island, and Adopted Coral. And I wrote every single one of them. For Adopted Coral, I did all the art because I took pictures of my cats. It's a children's book, and the other ones are for older people, like 16 and up. Okay, and if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow, chat, and subscribe. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and I will see you in the next stream or video.